welcome back to more Phoenix Wright's Journey Duel Destinies. Last time we left off, we finished Chapter 3, and now we're going to continue into Chapter... No, not Episode 2. Let's not do that one. We're going to go into Episode 4, which, takes place sometime, maybe? I don't know. This entire game's timeline is so weird so far. But, okay, blown up courtroom. Okay, so this is after. Maybe? The courtroom bombing incident. A terrible attack launched by the will of a madman. That incident perfectly symbolized the state of the legal world in this dark age of the law. I'm sorry, how does a courtroom bombing symbolize that? Mr. Wright brought it to a resolution of sorts. But that's not all there is to it, right? There was a... Okay, so this takes place... Finally, we're getting something after the first case, for the love of God. Tentonate was discovered to be the one responsible for the bombing. I hate when the text goes so slow like this. If only it were that simple. Somehow I can't help but think. Yeah, there's a criminal mastermind behind this. I'm gonna... The volume's a little bit quiet for me. Oh, holy crap, yeah, it's because it's less than half. That there's a darker influence at work. One that's lurking in the shadows, waiting. Just like Simon. That's right, it was me the whole time. That's why I want to review the trial that was taking place when the bombing occurred. Oh, yeah, you were in charge of that, weren't you, Apollo? Yeah. After all, it got more than a few personal stakes in it. We're gonna learn about your best friend, because they were like, oh, you'll get to meet my best friend someday. And then, of course, Athena's like, that day never happened. At least not in the way he wanted it to. Episode 4, The Cosmic Turnabout. That sounds otherworldly. Are we gonna have a space case? Oh my god, are we actually gonna have a space case? I was wishfully thinking, please be an actual space case. Did somebody like fall from space? And we have to prove like an astronaut did it?
Please begin your final equipment
I hate
check.
that there's no subtitles. I checked, there's no
Check
option.
complete.
Check complete.
Everything's okay. We're ready here.
You're Lowenthal, is that you again? Oh! Everything's okay! Well, clearly not.
Come in. Do you copy?
Emergency! Uh-oh. What's going on? There's a dude. He's dead. He's not dead? Oh, he looks pretty dead to me. Oh, now they're both dead. Rip. Oh! Yeah, he's dead. Oh. That looks like a USB. He was found with a giant USB stuck in his heart. Oh, what? Oh, we're starting in trial? Oh. Okay, okay, well. Terran's autopsy report. Stabbing. The victim was discovered in the third floor building lounge. Huh. I don't know that dude. Time for another trial to begin. But this one is different. I'm sorry to bother you, but... Oh, okay, it was Junior. I'm like, who is this? Are you alright, Apollo? Was I making a scary face just now? Oh, hi, Juniper. Yes, I'm fine. I was just doing my Chords of Steel exercises. Now I'm all ready to go, totally not having an inner monologue. Yes, knowing you, I'm sure you'll be just fine. Ooh, I brought you a present from my garden. Is this a lotus root? That's right. My grandma says lotus root is good for your eyes. She even says that if you look through the holes, it can help you see into the future. It's for good luck. Maybe later you can cook it in. Thanks for this. I'm gonna have some right now. Oh my. Oh god, you're not supposed to eat this first. Kinda tough though. You can't eat it raw, but thank you for the enthusiastic try. Oops, if she didn't think me weird before, she will now. I gotta calm down. Apollo, sorry I'm late. I thought, wow, you came in looking angry. I thought you were angry at me. Hi, Pina. Junie, I didn't know you were coming today. Did you come to cheer Apollo on? Oh, I get it. You sly little thing, you. Pina, stop. Quick getting around, Athena. The trial's about to start any second. Is everything all set? Oh, Apollo. When will you ever figure it out? Figure out what? Ha. Wow, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard. This is it. It's all over for me. They're gonna find me guilty. This is our client, one Mr. Solomon Soul Starbuck. Starbuck? Really? He's a very famous astronaut who happens to be an acquaintance of mine. You wouldn't know it right now, but he's usually a very upbeat and driven person. The scene of the crime this time happened to be the Cosmos Space Center. Back in high school, my best friend and I went there almost a little too much. But that's where we met Mr. Starbuck. We'd ask him about space travel, and he'd launch into story after story with so much passion. Back in those days, the man was 100% my hero. Then he became Mr. Wright, and then he lost his badge, and then I was sad. Are you sure you're okay with being my lawyer, Apollo? Of course I'm sure. I know you, Mr. Starbuck. I know you're not the type to commit murder. Thanks, but... I was supposed to be in space right about now. Oh my god, okay. He's so depressed, it almost seems like an act. The lot's getting called off must have been a huge shock. I'll probably never get the chance to go into space again. Don't say that! Don't stop believing. Besides, you just have to go to space again. Yeah, I don't think I could face Clay in the afterlife if I just rotted away in a cell. Clay Terran. I can't believe he was murdered. I mean, he was such a promising astronaut under your command. Yeah, he was a good guy. Always there to pick me up when I was down. No one loved life as much as him, that's for sure. He was always so full of energy, telling me, "You're fine, Mr. Starbuck." How could something like this happen to a guy like him, huh? I've never seen Mr. Starbuck so down. Okay, game? Please. Clay's gone and I'm going to prison. I wish I could burn up like a shooting star right now. Mr. Starbuck, you'll be fine. What is it? What's with the yelling? I'll get to the bottom of this today, you'll see. In exchange, I want you to go back into space for you and Clay, promise? Does that mean you have lots of evidence to prove my innocence? All I have is the autopsy report. Oh! Well, about that, we didn't get to investigate the area as much as I'd have liked, thanks to the police. I'm done for. I'm a goner. Everybody thinks I did it. Thought I was gonna soar like a comet. I'm just gonna crash like a meteorite. No, don't say that, Mr. Starbuck. Don't count yourself out yet. I know it's hard to lose a teammate, but you've got to keep going. Oh. And what about you, Apollo? What about me? I was just thinking, wasn't Clay your best friend? Oh. We need to focus on the trial right now. Are you all ready to go? Oh, poor Apollo. Apollo.
Trial's about to begin. The defense will please proceed to the courtroom.
Okay, here we go. This is it. This is one trial I can't afford to lose. For Clay's sake and our clients, I will find Clay's killer. Let's go. Huh. Wow. We didn't even get to learn anything about his best friend, though. That makes me sad. Aww. Hopefully we'll learn a little bit about him, because I want to know. Like, I don't know. Like I said, Apollo had no backstory in his own game, so hopefully they'll talk about it at least a little bit. Court is now in session, all rise. What? Is Black Quill the only prosecutor in this entire country? Like, oh my god, every single case we do is always Black Quill. Yes, I just love taking cases.
Court is now in session for the trial of Solomon Starbuck.
Oh, my eye's been covered up. Oh, that happened now. Why? Are we gonna explain that maybe sometime eventually? The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Okay, Judge, point it out, please. Excuse me, Mr. Justice?
Yes, Your Honor?
What happened to your eye?
I'm fine. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Oh, you suck. Are you sure?
I'm fine, Your Honor. The defense is ready, and I'm not gonna say what happened to my eye until the end of the game because it's probably a big plot spoiler, isn't it?
Oh!
I'm sorry, Your Honor. He's been like this since yesterday. He keeps insisting it's just a sty.
I suppose it's something he doesn't want to discuss. Maybe he's entering a touchy age.
Is the prosecution ready?
Very well, the prosecution.
Really? You're really asking me, am I ready?
Prosecution appears to be ready as well.
I didn't say anything yet. How dare you? Not yet. I'm not quite ready yet. Wow, first 5 minutes of the trial.
Oh, is that really that surprising anymore? He does it every single time.
Why is the bomb case here? The prosecution is now ready. Well, it didn't take him long this time. Didn't take him long this time. Do I look like I'm in a joking mood, Athena? Wow. What's up with Blackwell?
Now then, I shall give the opening statement.
Silence.
No! I said that was a one-time exception. I'll do it.
You will? What an unexpected surprise.
Man, Blackwell does not seem like a bad guy. I feel like he's probably not the culprit in the murder he was convicted for. Which probably has to do with Athena somehow. I don't know how, but I don't know. Mother, father, I don't know. And in the end, Prosecutor Blackwell's the one Athena's like trying to defend the whole time. That'd actually be kind of crazy. I wouldn't be surprised, but I also would be surprised at the same time. Because he even said, like, aren't you fighting for him? So I know he would refer to himself in, like, what would that be, second person? I don't know. But, you know, I don't think he'd refer to himself as a him. I don't know. I don't know. Game's just being cryptic anyways, who cares? I still think Wright has something to do with this game's overarching plot because he almost seems too good. Although I do love him so much, especially I can't get over that case in the last part where they were like, don't think the police are that stupid. They checked for the blood analysis, right? And he's like, and then just starts putting his fingers together. And then Blackwell's like, oh, would you? Okay, well, guess we're getting that done now. This time I can't leave it to anyone else.
Oh, I see. Something is off with the two of you today.
We were both best friends. We weren't friends directly, but like both of us were best friends with the culprit or the victim. So yeah,
You both seem different somehow. Very well, Prosecutor Blackwell. Your opening statement, if you would.
It was just yesterday. The crimes in question occurred at the Cosmos Space Center.
Ah, that famous federal research facility of all things is so related to astrology, right?
Astronomy. It's astronomy. Anyway, a rocket was set to launch from there. But at 9:28 a.m., before they could even move the rocket to the launch site, two explosive devices were detonated, and the launch was canceled. Oh. There's been like mass bombings going on. Ah, so I bet you it's all part of like a syndicate though, right? Ted Tenate was the bomber in that case, but there's probably gonna be multiple different bombers throughout this game, and then one big bomber that we'll probably get to in case 5.
My word! 2 bombs! How dreadful!
The defendant in today's trial is charged with both the bombing and with murder. One Mr. Solomon Starbuck. For whatever inane reason, he detonated a bomb on the rocket he himself would be in.
Solomon Starbuck? I recognize that name. Isn't he that famous astronaut? Didn't I literally say his name earlier? How did I not realize it then?
Correct, your boldness. Mr. Starbuck was the pilot of the Hat 1 rocket 7 years ago. As you may recall, despite some interstellar trouble, his mission was a success. God dang, everything happened 7 years ago, didn't it? Some say it was a miracle he returned alive. Suppose you could say he's a living legend.
Oh, I remember now. He became something of an international celebrity, right?
The Hat 1 miracle.
They even turned that incident into a movie and everything. We got a real space pioneer in court today.
Huh. But even heroes tumble from their lofty heights. You either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. Return to the subject at hand.
Ah, yes. The victim was one Mr. Clay Tarrant, subordinate of the defendant.
Indeed, a loyal disciple brutally stabbed to death by his mentor.
Stabbed to death, you say? You mean his death wasn't a result of the bombing?
Correct. Despite his lofty dreams, the victim was seen as an interloper by the defendant. Sorry. I thought that said interpolar. I was in like Interpol, and I'm like, what? And so he was sent not into space, but to the universe which we mortals cannot see. Clay.
Aw, poor Apollo. I feel bad for him. I think I've heard enough. This case seems pretty clear cut at this point. However, there is one thing I'm curious about. That metal box next to the witness stand.
That's the bomb, right?
They use the same bomb every time. What purpose does it serve exactly?
Since you asked so nicely, it's your coffin.
Ah! Have mercy on me!
I'm just kidding. I jest. It's evidence. Due to its immense size. Oh, Blackwell, you're so good. We've a little choice but to lay it where it rests now. We shall get to the contents of the box in due time.
Whoa! I feel like I just lost 50 years off my life.
Does he even have 50 years left? Oh, inner monologue, Athena, inner monologue. Enough jabbering.
Bobby Fulbright's the name, in justice we trust. Oh, Detective Fulbright. God, do we only have one detective too? God, this is a small force, holy crap. Very well then, please explain the details of this incident to the court if you would.
On it. First, take a look at this pamphlet from the Cosmos Space Center. In it, you'll find a diagram outlining the overall layout of the Space Center. Ah, here we are. For a more detailed look at what's on the left side of this building. Oh. Take a look at this cross-section that we, the police, have created. See the launch pad in the main building?
The launch pad is a square building, and the rounded structure is the main building, right?
You got it. The incident took place in Launch Pad 1 and in the main building's lounge. I'll be using this diagram during my testimony. It'll make it easier to understand. Space Center diagram added to court record. Oh, witness testimony time.
Witness testimony.
Well, details of the case. Just before the rocket was set to launch, 2 bombs went off. Boom! Boom! One on the second floor of the Space Center's main building, and one in Launch Pad 1. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were in Launch Pad 1 at the time. The 2 of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge, but after the escape, one of the 2 was found stabbed to death. Bum, bum, bum.
A murder on top of a bombing. Detective, the victim was already dead by the time you arrived at the lounge, correct?
Yep. Thinking he'd sabotaged the bombing, the defendant attacked and killed the victim. Just look at this tragic photo.
Oh my! Is that a knife in the victim's chest?
Yes, Your Honor. The knife that cruelly ended this young man's dreams. We couldn't get any prints off of it, though, because the defendant is in his spacesuit. This is not looking good for our case.
By the way, Detective Fulbright, why are the victim's helmet and right glove absent in this photograph?
We had to remove them to identify him, Your Honor. I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity, after all.
That doesn't seem suspicious at all. Yes, it would be very difficult to identify him without a face or fingerprints. Now, there's just one more thing I'd like to inquire about. What is this round thing next to the victim in this photo?
Something so important to the victim he took it with him as he escaped the launch pad. A capsule that apparently contains asteroid samples. While obviously valuable for research purposes, it has no relation to this case.
I see.
So, we know the bomb in the main building was on the 2nd floor. But where was that bomb that was in the Launch Pad 1 located? That one was on the rocket itself. It was situated around the central part of the rocket. Apparently, the area around the launch pad's elevator was a sea of flames. I would like to submit this diagram report into the record. Oh god, another diagram? Stop it, man. The trial's just started and we're already in a bind. You get used to it. Besides, that's what cross-examination is for, right? What the 2 astronauts were doing during the bombing. That'll be the key. God, Apollo seems so down. I feel so bad. And like, I'm not saying he shouldn't be down. His best friend was literally just killed. But like, it sucks, man.
Hold it!
Hold it! How powerful were the explosions? Well, the one in the main building wasn't strong enough to bring the place down. But the room it went off in was burned black. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Due in large part, of course, to me stepping up to lead the evacuation. Wait, what were you doing there in the first place, Detective Fulbright? Ha ha ha! I'm Bobby Fulbright, hero of justice. I'll be there whenever and wherever and whenever people need my help. I'd go to the other side of the world or even the edge of the universe. I'm not sure he knows how far that actually is, but I guess I'll leave that one alone. Admirable decision, Justice Dono. Huh? What did he decide? Anyway, could you describe what it was like at the Space Center at that time?
Yeah, why were you there?
The bomb cut the power to the central bank of elevators and the third floor lounge. It was pitch black in there, I tell you. However, the security cameras and whatnot were running on emergency backup. How'd the evacuation go? I immediately and heroically whisked people down to the Space Center's basement shelter.
The basement shelter?
Yes, there's an emergency shelter beneath the Space Center. An emergency shelter, huh? Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom of the diagram. The Space Center is pretty impressive to have its own shelter. The power outage and evacuation seem unrelated to the murder at this point. I guess I'll leave that aside for now. So there were 2 explosions in total, correct? Yep, that's alright.
Oh no, Fulbright, what'd you do? What did you do, Fulbright? They're making you suspicious, which makes me think that you did something.
Let me get this straight. Mr. Starbuck rigged a rocket he was going to board with explosives. Huh? What are you talking about? The defendant really did plant the bomb on his own rocket. He'd get caught in the explosion as well.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Fine. A simpleton for a simpleton. Fulbright, the motive. Understood. The defendant actually had astrophobia. Astrophobia? What's that? Are you stupid? You can pretty much take a guess at the name, but a fear of space, naturally. Just the thought of space can cause the afflicted to freeze up. And so, in his terror, the defendant found a way to stop the launch at the last minute. That's absurd! Unfortunately for you, we have evidence. Take a look at these. What are they? Tylenol! These anti-anxiety tablets were found among the defendant's possessions. Apparently, he was taking them in secret to quell his fears. There were a multitude of problems with the rocket Mr. Starbuck rode 7 years ago. Rumor has it he threatened to crash a number of times as well. That was, of course, very traumatic for Mr. Starbuck. Objection! But that doesn't mean he'd go so far as to blow up his own ship. The defendant couldn't bear to mar his good name, now could he? No, not if that media had branded him Soul Starbuck, space pioneer extraordinaire. Given these conditions, the defendant could hardly run away like some base mutt. What? So that's why you think he's resorted to the bombing? Naturally, he constructed this act of sabotage in an attempt to blow up the Space Center, which would effectively abort the launch, but spare his reputation. Now I'm sure you understand why we have to bring justice down on this atrocious criminal. Are you sure it was only the 2 of them? It was just before the spaceship was set to launch, so of course it was only those 2. Well, there could have been somebody else inside that rocket. Really, Justice Dono? The notion of a third party in Launch Pad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the lounge, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. Allow me to state up front that there are precious few with the clearance to do so.
A fingerprint recognition device? It sounds as futuristic and complex as the Space Center.
Actually, it's not as amazing as you think, Your Honor. Take a look at this photo. This is the door in the lounge with a fingerprint lock. Only personnel's fingerprints are registered can pass through.
I see. That's very different from what... Oh, it's very different from what I had in mind. Is there a record of the number of people that passed through the door yesterday?
Yes, there are only 3. The defendant, the victim, and... the director of the Space Center, Yuri Cosmos. Does that mean it's possible that the director is the one who did it? Not a chance. He was in the main building when the bombs exploded in 928, doing his job directing the launch. Besides having an alibi, he has no murder for committing these senseless acts. He has a point. I guess the director can't be considered a suspect then.
Okay. For now.
So while it would appear that the pair barely escaped with their lives, in actuality, one of them had already been murdered inside that rocket. That's the angle the prosecution wants to push, correct?
You got it! In fact, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time! If the victim had been alive, he would have for sure tried to stop the bombing.
Is there any chance Mr. Terran could have been killed before he boarded the rocket?
They were both alive and well at boarding time and embarked on their own power. Their hearts full of hopes and dreams of space.
And then both their hopes and dreams were dashed.
If I may continue my explanation, after the evacuation order was given, the defendant made his escape carrying the victim to make it look like a rescue.
And who was the first to find the victim?
Actually, there are two of them. The Space Center Director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective Candace Arm.
Oh!
Because then she's the victim in the next case. Ooh. I bet you it is Yuri then. Yuri might not be the culprit in this case, but I bet you she's the mastermind of this bombing thing. Actually, what am I talking about? No, it's not. That's way too obvious now I'm thinking about it. One of those a detective. Yep, Detective Arm specializes in bombings, you see. She and the director were ordering the evacuation following the explosions. They were also worried about the astronauts, so they hurried over to the boarding lounge. That's when they discovered the victim along with the defendant.
Two witnesses, huh? And one of them is a detective. I doubt either one would have anything to say that would help me.
Well, I think that pretty much covers the details of the case. Only the victim and the defendant were on the launch pad when the former was killed. If this is the truth, then only Mr. Starbuck could have carried out this crime.
What little I could get out of him only hurt my case.
Justice Dono, foolish is the warrior who rushes headlong into battle. Preparation is an essential element of battle, so I advise you to take a gander at this.
What is it?
Footage from a security camera, as the two astronauts emerged from the bowels of the Launch Pad 1 corridor. The boarding lounge security camera captured their desperate escape. Now I would direct your attention to what the defendant is shouldering, which you can see is none other than the lifeless body of the victim.
What?
Order! Order, I say! This lines up exactly what the prosecution has been asserting.
I should have known Blackwell would have had something like that ready. Apollo? How exactly did they determine that Clay was already gone in that footage? I see what you mean. Whether Clay was still alive at that point is pretty crucial. Your Honor, please take another look at the footage. Isn't it possible that Mr. Terran was alive here and Mr. Starbuck was helping him?
Why, I believe you're right. One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship.
Perhaps that's what it looks like to a one-eyed hothead and a dotard. But it only makes sense if it's the victim's dead body. What do you mean? Fulbright, explain it to Justice Dono.
You got it. Ready, kid? If the murder had occurred in the lounge, someone could have spotted it. Anyone can enter the lounge, after all. But doing it while they were alone in the spaceship, that's a horse of a different color.
But you can't deny that there's a possibility the murder could have happened in the lounge. All that video shows is a man helping his fellow astronaut out.
Your assertion is based on emotion. It's based on your belief that Mr. Starbuck would surely help his own disciple, but you have no logical explanation as to why the victim can still be alive. Unfortunately, Mr. Justice, the prosecution is right. Your argument is lacking in sound logic.
But it sounded perfectly logical to me.
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further objections, I believe it's time to bring this cross-examination to a close.
Objections? Well,
Okay, Athena.
Your Honor, the defense requested little time to think and regroup.
Given the facts, I'm not sure I see the need.
What is it, Athena? It's just, there's something that's been bothering me.
If it isn't the defense stalling for time, as always.
Very well. I'm feeling generous. You may have a small measure of time. Yes! You have 5 seconds. 5 seconds? After that, I declare this cross-examination be closed and a verdict to be rendered. Your baldness, raise your gavel high. It's time for a countdown. Oh! Ready? We don't have time. Spin it out, Dina.
Only 3 more seconds.
Look, I don't think the prosecution's explanation is very complete. Meaning there's something missing. Like, they conveniently left it unexplained. Something they didn't explain. You're right. I think I know what you're talking about.
Your 5 seconds are up, Mr. Justice. Is there anything about the prosecution's argument that you'd like to rebut?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, there is. There's something the prosecution has yet to make clear to this court.
Well, if you put it that way, what is it the prosecution has failed to explain? Oh wow, they even changed it.
They have failed to explain why Mr. Starbuck would bother bringing the body back at all. If the defendant wanted to kill the victim, why didn't he just leave his body in the rocket? Why go through the trouble of bringing him all the way back to the boarding lounge?
Oh, that's true. I don't think we've heard the prosecution's thoughts on that yet.
That's because they have none, Your Honor. After all, how does one explain something so illogical?
You should.
Prosecution is claiming the defendant moved the victim's dead body. What if the entire premise of that argument is wrong?
Now let's hear your theory, Mr. Justice.
The defense proposes the defendant didn't kill the victim. He was helping him. Fulbright, explain it for our sad friend here before I nod off to his monotone monologue. Inform him exactly why Spaceboy moved the victim. Huh? They've gotta be joking.
It's simple. Mr. Starbuck did what he did to direct suspicion away from himself. He wanted to create the impression he heroically risked his life to save his partner. That's why he made sure to make it look like That's why he made sure to make it to the security camera so there'd be a record. At the very least, he appears to have achieved success with you and the old man. One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship. Really? We needed a flashback to remember that?
The average person wearing a spacesuit weighs easily over 200 pounds, saving the life of a partner who weighs as much while trying to escape deadly flames. What a dramatic sob story fit for the silver screen.
Indeed. I was completely taken in by the humanity of the story.
You see? Yet the true ending is that all traces of his hammy act were meant to blown up. Yes, and now we arrive at the thrilling conclusion. The third explosion. What are you talking about? There was no third explosion. Indeed, you are correct. But that is thanks to Detective R. It was she who identified and secured the bomb. However, it doesn't change the fact that the third bomb was discovered in the lounge. The steel coffin beside the witness stand. That would be a bomb transport case. Oh, this is the bomb that's used later on. In the next case, yeah. We use that to transport the deactivated bomb here. It was found in the lounge. A bomb in the form of a most distasteful toy. What? On the second floor of the main building. One on the launch pad and one in the lounge. The defendant planned to set off 3 firework displays. Fortunately, the third was discovered before it could be detonated, for had it not, the victim's body and other vital evidence would surely have been immolated. Before you utter a word, know that the evidence supports me. It's like he's reading my mind. As it's still undergoing forensic investigation, I do not have the evidence on hand. However, know that a peculiar item was found in one of Mr. Starbuck's pockets. Specifically, a bomb detonation switch. Oh, that goes missing later on. You found what? I suspect the defendant had no time to destroy such damning evidence. And the Space Center director and Detective Arms stumbled across the murder, so he thought to hide it in his pocket. Feeble-brained that he is. No! Mr. Starbuck would never do anything like that. Whoa! Oh! Ow. Justice Ono, open your eyes and see the truth.
This appears to be irrefutable evidence that the accused set off the explosions.
No, there has to be some kind of mistake. This can't be the truth.
Still can't accept it. You'll believe in your client, come what may. Then why don't you cross-examine the defendant himself?
This has got to be a trap. It's like Blackwell's controlling the entire game. Yeah, it seemed like he was waiting for me to bring up the dead body issue. Why do you say that? Because he had just the right argument when I pointed it out. And to really rub it in, he had a decisive piece of evidence up his sleeve, too. He was trying to shake my faith in Mr. Starbuck and break me down. Then making me cross-examine Mr. Starbuck at this point was part of his plan, too. Totally underhanded, but I wouldn't expect anything less from him.
Now, let us hear from the arch-villain, the fiendish murderer himself, famed astronaut Solomon Starbuck.
Dude, I hate my life, dude. Oh my god.
What next? Your name and occupation, please.
Solomon Starbuck, astronaut. How did this happen?
Mr. Starbuck, you aren't looking very well. Will you be able to give testimony?
No.
Well, unfortunately, no is not an option. You are being accused of the Space Center bombing and the murder of Clay Terra. Please testify to these allegations.
What if I take this suit off? It's getting really heavy.
It's not the weight of the suit that you feel, but of your sins. Prepare to carry that weight for the rest of your life.
Banish me to the moon. I don't care anymore. Wow, that was super negative. Is he gonna be alright up there? He'll be fine, I think. As long as he doesn't totally give up and say he did it, that is. Don't pull a Jeff Master on me, dude. It's like the last thing I need. All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of the rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and head for the corridor. Clay had passed out by the time we got the order to evacuate. I didn't kill Clay, I was trying to save him.
So you're sure you didn't set off the bombs or murder the victim?
But I bet you think I'm lying, right?
I reserve all judgment until after I've heard your full testimony.
I'm sure you don't believe me. I bet you don't even believe I'm an astronaut. I don't think the judge doubts that. Who would wear a suit like that except an astronaut?
I will say that when I saw you in that movie, you appeared quite courageous. Though I suppose reality never quite lives up to fantasy.
I guess I'm just a big disappointment. I really don't care what happens anymore. Oh no, he's completely given up.
What a depressing fellow. If you were to join me in the clink, I imagine that annoying sighing of yours would rub off on the other inmates.
Like how it rubbed off on Prosecutor Blackwell a second ago?
Oh, was that him?
Huh? That was Blackwell sighing? Mr. Starbuck's testimony contains a glaring contradiction. The question is, what does it mean? Even Mr. Starbuck is my client. I can't be gun-shy now. It's time to find out the truth.
The fact that... Is there no elevator? Is that it? Like what? Maybe? I don't know. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Dude, there was an explosion.
Mr. Starbuck, I need your testimony to be as accurate as possible. Was I not being accurate? No, because it's impossible for you to have taken the elevator down to the middle level.
What makes you say that, Mr. Justice?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the fact that a bomb went off. Please recall where the bomb went off in Launchpad 1. Also recall after the explosion, the middle level elevator was engulfed in flames.
Oh, you're right. Which means...
Exactly. The Launchpad's elevator would have been unusable. In other words... Mr. Starbuck, your statement is decidedly inconsistent with the facts. What's with the helmet?
Mission Command. Mission Command, do you read me? Come in, please.
This is Mission Command. I order you to pay attention. Stop this nonsense and answer my questions, Mr. Starbuck. My helmet. My oxygen tank. Oxygen concentration, body temperature declining. Requesting medical assistance.
Mr. Starbuck, we are not in space right now. Please stop pretending you have lost consciousness and stand back up.
I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot I was still on Earth. I feel like we all just got a real glimpse of Solomon Starbuck the astronaut. Yeah, I seem more like an astronaut now than when he was doing all that sighing. Mr. Starbuck, could you please explain the inconsistency in your statement about how you used the middle-level elevator? I was nervous and I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I actually took a different route, I think. A different route? I hope you're able to deliver a straight story this time. I'll get it right this time, maybe. No, I mean probably.
Probably. It's understandable to be nervous, but let me remind you actually is paramount in court. Witness testimony. Oh, we're doing a whole new testimony. My escape route.
Let's see. My escape route. What I said before was a mistake. I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe, probably. With the capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level. So you're saying you escaped without using the elevator? That's right. There's a ladder that spans the upper and middle levels. I used that ladder to get to the middle level. Luckily, the fire didn't reach the ladder, so we can make our escape that way. And the capsule you mentioned. I suppose you mean the thing next to Mr. Terran here. Was that capsule that important that you'd risk your life to take it with you? It almost goes without saying, but yeah, the capsule contains asteroid samples. Therefore, it's invaluable as research material. With a spacesuit on, clay weighed a ton, but securing the capsule is also important. I need you to answer to the best of your ability. Mr. Starbuck, please remember that your verdict is riding on your testimony.
Should I be giving this guy the Kaido voice considering he's an astronaut? Maybe I am guilty after all. Wonder if you can see the stars in prison. Bet it's more comfortable than a spaceship. Sorry, his voice is just too similar to Apollo, so we'll give him the Kaido voice, which is kind of just a Gant voice, but whatever. What? I read that already. I don't know why they're making me do it again.
Objection!
There we go.
Mr. Starbuck, why don't you just tell the truth?
The truth? Let's see. The Earth is blue. No, that's not right. So, I guess the Earth isn't blue? Yeah, that's it.
The truth, Mr. Starbuck.
Oh, the oxygen concentration is super low in this area. Prepare the emergency tanks. Mr. Justice, the witness appears confused. Please help draw out the truth from him.
Mr. Starbuck, under the circumstances at the time, you couldn't possibly have reached the boarding lounge via the upper level route.
Huh?
Not as long as this was along the escape route.
The ladder, right?
Take that!
To get down from the upper level to the middle level where the Launchpad 1 corridor is, you would have to go down the ladder. Isn't that right, Mr. Starbuck?
Oh, of course. That was the only way we could escape.
Objection!
No. But how would that work? At the time, you were supporting Mr. Terran over your shoulder, were you not? And remember, he was in full space gear as well, putting him at over 200 pounds.
Well, it's easy on the moon. Gravity is only 1/6 of what it is on Earth.
Objection!
No. But the Space Center is located on Earth. Short of being an octopus, climbing a ladder with an adult male in space gear in one arm. While carrying the capsule in your other is impossible, wouldn't you say?
Oh.
So, Mr. Starbuck, how exactly did you climb that ladder with your arms full? Mr. Starbuck, come clean and tell us the truth. Now!
Engineer! Where's an engineer? Oxygen leak detected due to faulty maintenance. Evacuate immediately! What the?
He's flying the coop.
Ah! Help! I'm caught on the ceiling! Help? Anyone? Bailiff! Prepare the cherry picker. We must launch a rescue mission at once.
Well, that's one way to take off while being questioned. I'd rather prove his innocence so we can go to space again sometime soon.
Now then, Mr. Starbuck, do you think you can keep your feet planted on the ground? Yes, I apologize for losing control.
Are you ready to tell us the truth?
Not that. Anything but that.
What is going on? This isn't the Mr. Starbuck I know.
It appears Spaceboy is prone to deception. Witness. Yikes! Yes? I thought your story odd, but perhaps the inconsistencies can be explained as the result of a medical side effect. Prosecutor Blackwell, please don't talk about that.
What are you talking about, Prosecutor Blackwell?
Didn't I already state that Spaceboy is, ironically, terrified of going into space? That's why he took some precautions just before the launch. For you see, traces of this anti-anxiety drug were found in his system.
Oh, I sense things are about to nosedive.
Hold it! You got it all wrong. I told him during the investigation, too. I don't know anything about drugs. I never took any medication, I swear.
It was found in his system, but he doesn't remember taking it. How could that be?
Somebody must have slipped them to me. But I guess maybe that's why I don't remember. Because of the side effects. Yeah, that's why I don't remember much about what really happened.
What?
Order in the court!
We can't get any useful testimony out of him if he doesn't remember anything. Well, this certainly explains why his testimony kept changing. Why didn't you just tell me you couldn't remember?
Oh, screen recording saved video. Sorry about that, guys.
I guess he didn't want anybody to find out he was terrified of going into space.
Maybe I really did do it. Which brings us to the answer of our original question. Of how the wind has climbed down the ladder with a dead body.
It does? So what is it?
A dead man feels no pain and makes no complaints, Justice Dono. So the body was simply dropped down from the top of the ladder. Oh my, I see. And then the defendant climbed down with his free hand.
Objection!
Drop the body down? They would do such a disrespectful thing. Besides, dropping the body would leave marks on the body itself.
So you are capable of quick thinking. Yes, you are correct.
Really? Oh, thanks. Ah! Huh? What's this?
It's the oxygen tank from the victim's spacesuit. It's ruptured, and I'm sure you can figure out why.
You can't be implying it ruptured when the defendant dropped the victim's body.
I am, for they fracture easily when struck.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the tank's explosion and shrapnel would leave its mark on the body. Yet according to the autopsy report, only the knife wound was found on the victim's body. You're clearly grasping at straws with this line of reasoning.
Silence!
A spacesuit isn't heavy for the sake of being heavy, Justice Dono. It includes the latest technological devices and is made of the fabric of tomorrow. This fabric is made to protect astronauts from the dangers of space. So falling a few Earth yards would hardly leave a mark on the weave.
Objection!
It shouldn't be impossible to stab someone through it as well.
It should, and yet through sheer coincidence, the knife slipped through a weak spot in the suit's structure and found its way into its target.
What are the chances?
You forgot that our killer is an astronaut himself with knowledge of how the suit works.
He's got me there.
And now my argument has been proven. Spaceboy killed the victim in the rocket and then dropped his body from the upper level. After climbing down, he shouldered the body and made sure the camera recorded it. There's no room for debate about these facts. It is clear that Solomon Starbuck is the only one who could have killed Clay Terran. Here, the report regarding the astronauts' oxygen tanks. Consider it my send-off gift. Feel free to use it as payment
to cross the river Styx. Whoa! Hey, this report is pretty detailed. Yeah, let's check that again real quick. Victim's tank was ruptured with 0% left. The defendants had 80%. Remaining oxygen deplete. Wait, what? After the incident, the victim's tank was ruptured. Oh. Oh. Let's see. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows how much oxygen remains. I guess that means these... Oh. We just found a contradiction, boys. Because that means these glowing cyan digits represent the amount of oxygen remaining. I'm done for. I'm gonna prison this out of space. Space boy. Yes? Take heart. The bejeweled night sky is still beautiful, even when viewed through bars. You mean the stars as seen from prison? That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through the iron bars. It's like being an astronaut in your own craft for all time. That's not a half bad thought. Mr. Starbuck? Prosecutor Blackwell got to him good. Yep. Spaceship prison cell. Fly me, my guilt, and my despair to the deepest, darkest space. And then, let's get sucked into a black hole together.
Objection!
Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope. Oh? Yes, Apollo. You know, Clay really looked up to you. He said you were an incredible man. He said you'd never give up your dreams and passion for space, no matter the situation. He said that? So don't give up now and help me prove your innocence, for the sake of the men who respected you and believed in you. Clay Tarrant. For Clay. You're wasting your breath. Ugh. What's going on? Oh, he's back! Yeah. Huh. Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now. I can see clearly now. Mr. Starbuck. I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission. Right. We'll both be fine. I'll prove you're innocent. You'll see. And after that, we'll get you back into space. Yeah! You've ignited the booster rockets of my soul. I'm on fire! I am Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, a comic hero chosen by the universe itself. There's no time to whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down. Balderdash. The sun, the moon, all of space is calling me. Solomon Soul Starbuck, ready for launch. Begin the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2. Please, 1. I hope that, or no, it's the crowd. 1, liftoff! Wow! I feel like I've witnessed an actual rocket launch. Apollo, you did it! You broke Prosecutor Blackwell's grip over Mr. Starbuck. I can't take the credit. It was all Mr. Starbuck. He pulled himself through. Huh. If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos, no matter how positive your mood, my advantage remains unshakable. I have but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your baldness? I can't let up now. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see this through. Mr. Starbuck just has to make it back into space. Aww. I won't allow Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. I've got to destroy Blackwell's argument somehow. Think, Justice, think! The only people at the launch pad 1 were Clay and Mr. Starbuck. And if Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken, then the only person who could have killed him is Mr. Starbuck. So the only way to counter Blackwell's argument is if I can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding lounge. In which case, I should be able to find some contradiction in the evidence itself. Oh, it just hit me. Clay is the one carrying him, isn't it? He doesn't remember any of this because he was unconscious. And you can tell because of the oxygen tank. It just hit me. Now let's see. How about this data that we just received? This supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay's body on Launchpad 1. But if I'm gonna prove that false, then there must be something I can use here. Enough of this farce, your boldness. Let's have your verdict. No. Prosecutor Blackwell, you seem to be in quite a hurry to rush the verdict. But about this oxygen tank data you submitted just now. It says that Mr. Starbuck's tank had 80% remaining while Mr. Terrence had 0. Do you stand by the accuracy of this report? Of course. Smile. Come on, Apollo. Then I guess it simply means that it's faulty, as evidence goes. You will explain what you mean, Justice Dono. It's simple. This evidence contradicts the facts of this case. Take a look here at the detailed description and you'll see what I mean.
I hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory.
Yes, Your Honor, right away. This is the evidence that the oxygen tank report stands in contradiction to.
Take that!
And how does this evidence present a contradiction?
The problem is this part here.
Take that!
Note the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbuck's tank as he carries Mr. Terran.
It appears to say 50.
Yes, but according to the data, our client's tank had 80% remaining.
The oxygen in the tank increased.
I see Your Honor finds it as strange as I do. It's bad enough that there is a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical.
Oh my, you're absolutely right. What is going on here?
Silence!
I too find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. It would be as odd as if my rations were to increase. But what does that prove? It doesn't change the fact that if the defendant was carrying the victim's corpse. No, but we're gonna... I'm gonna bet you don't get more rations because you don't abide by the rules. Either way, the oxygen remaining shouldn't increase just as your rations don't increase. Therefore, this new information is critical. We can't overlook it.
Silence!
In that case, do you have an answer to this riddle of the mysteriously increasing oxygen? You better not disappoint, or I'll declare the inconsistency as mere equipment malfunction.
Come on, I know what it is. Prosecutor Blackwell's a point. I suppose it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot provide an adequate counter-argument to this point, I'm afraid I must bring the trial to an end. So, do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased?
Of course I can! The thing to do at a time like this is turn my thinking around. Mr. Starbuck has no memory of it, but he claims to have carried Clay. So this man with the 50 on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But if anything, the display on his oxygen tank should have shown at 80.
Ah, come on! It's not that hard to figure out.
So what should have asked is not, why did the oxygen level increase? But what had to have happened to make it look like it increased? Am I making some kind of mistake in my base assumption here?
Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. I'm not even gonna save. Yes! What if it was the other way around?
The other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice?
As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage, but it turns out, this is where our base assumptions went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran at all. It was Mr. Terran who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge.
It was what? Order! Order! Mr. Justice! You mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is the victim, Clay Terran?
It's the only way the riddle of the increasing oxygen levels can be solved, Your Honor. At this point in time, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was at 50%. And when the victim was found in the boarding lounge, his tank was at 0%. That's right. There's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level decreasing. This means Mr. Terran was alive as they made their escape to the lounge.
Silence!
How short your memory is. Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed, even if the victim was alive at this point in time? How did he descend the ladder with his arms full?
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell, you can't hurt me with a broken blade.
Excuse me?
It's true that we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigating. We have proven that Mr. Terran was alive when he reached the boarding lounge. This fact alone shatters your claims, and opens up the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party. Ugh! There were 2 people who claimed to be the first on the scene. But can we truly trust their statements? Let's see. The 2 people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? Do you think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police? Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging.
It seems we'll have to hear the testimony of these first 2 people on the scene.
Score!
Come to think of it, Detective Arm should be here in court right now. Bailiff, could you please show Detective Arm to the stand?
What? Detonate? I have an announcement, everyone.
What's the meaning of this? We're in the middle of a trial here.
Please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone has reactivated the bomb. The bomb was defused, but it's about to explode. Oh! Oh, and this is what happened. A bomb? Now?
Ah! Everybody run! I thought that said mom.
I don't want to die. Oh no, everybody's panicking.
Silence.
Headless chickens with a death wish, the lot of you. Calm yourself before all else. Come on, Apollo, let's get out of here. What about Mr. Starbuck's dream? And who will carry out Clay's final wish? I don't care what happens to me. I'm not letting some bomb blow blood of truth up forever. I refuse to let things end here. Apollo, this is not the time to be dramatic. We don't get out of here now, we're gonna die. Come on, this way. Hey, ouch, let me go. Apollo! Juniper? She hasn't evacuated yet. Ah! Juniper, are you alright? Apollo, no! Not that way. Ow. Oh, that hurt. No. No, 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 you piece of garbage. The moment is like, wait a minute, it's flashing, don't you dare. Oh, how could you end it there? That's not fair. That's not fair. Oh, you suck, game, you suck. I hate you. Oh, I wonder if Apollo's out of commission now. I wonder if that means Phoenix, is he gonna be the new person for this case? Because Apollo just got really hurt, right? So I want to understand that this trial was never finished because of the explosion, and then we had the Detonate trial the next day ish. Yeah, I think it was the next day, and then now we're going back, but Apollo just left, or I don't know what the heck's going on. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap up today's episode here for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. If you're gonna see more of this awesome game, we're playing it till the end as always, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.